Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth and final Moody Talk on anger. So I chose anger for this month of January because, anger is the most misunderstood emotion that we have. Many times people feel scared when they get angry, or they were told when they were young that they can't get angry, that they're not allowed to get angry. So I'm here to tell you that anger is a valid emotion and we feel it for a reason. So one of the things that I've talked about in the past, so the first Moody Talk I discussed words that we use to describe anger. And then I put them on a scale of intensity, so lowest intensity to highest intensity. And I do this every time I talk about a new emotion because I think people should be able to put together their own list of words that they use most often. And when they rank them by intensity, they then can understand later, when they're in the moment, that, okay, so this is a higher intensity word that I'm using. So obviously I'm I'm feeling this intensely right now. So I had to do that. Also body sensations that you feel when you're angry, because, it's good to understand our bodies and how they feel when we go into an intense emotion, right? I also discussed Dear Man for anger during arguments. So that's our third one. So if you want to check that out, if you have a lot of difficulties with interpersonal communication with people, especially when you're angry, the Dear Man tips and coping skills that are part of DBT are really great to have in your toolbox, so that when you are in a conversation that can be distressing, you can maybe go back to the anagram, Dear Man, and go through the different steps to ensure that you're, communicating in a way that is helpful for both of you. Okay. So this fourth and final in the anger series is all about when it just gets too much. Anger, you're just really, really over the top angry and you need to step back. So what I did for this week is using T.I.P. T.I.P is another anagram by DBT that is a list of coping skills that you can use when you are over the top, when it's just too much and you need to step back and do something for yourself, okay? So using T.I.P, it's a DBT's coping skill. Distress tolerance is the T.I.P is used for. Distress tolerance and emotion regulation are two different things. So emotion regulation, I've talked about this before, and it's also part of Dear Man, when you're in a conversation with someone, is when you're at a lower level of intense emotion. Okay, so you're in the middle. You're between a 1 and like a 6.5, 7, that kind of thing. So those type of coping skills work a lot better during emotion regulation. So distress tolerance is when it just boom, you are an 8, 9, 10 or more, and you need to bring it all back and give yourself some self-care and some attention to help you bring down just how intense you're feeling it. Okay, so T.I.P is an anagram to remember when you need to lower the intensity of your emotions. Okay, so T.I.P. So there's 1 T, 1 I, and 2 P's. Okay, not all of these are going to work for everyone. There are parts of T.I.P in here that I've tried and I can't stand, and I won't do because I just can't do it. Okay, so these aren't for everyone. You may find one is very, very helpful while the other one is a way no-go. Okay, so let's start. T, changing your body temperature. Okay, so T is the one that I'm not a big fan of because I hate cold. I absolutely hate it. And maybe, when I first tried it, I knew at that point that I really couldn't use this as a tool. But cold water can be a major wake up when you're feeling intense anger. So here are a few things you can do. This first one, this is the one I tried and I was just like, no, never again, never. Fill a large bowl with water and ice. Take the plunge. Hold your breath and put your face into the bowl. So you're supposed to put your face in the bowl and you're supposed to count for, as long as you can. And you're thinking about that counting as you have your face into this ice cold water. And then take it out and breathe. And it can really just snap you out of what you were feeling in your body, that intensity, because it just changed the dynamic altogether. Okay? This one is a little easier for me, and I have done this in the past, and it's a matter of remembering to do it. Keep frozen washcloths balled up in the freezer. Take it out when needed and rub it on your face or pull it apart. So it's just a different way to use the cold. You use it in your hands and you can press it on your face. But another great thing about using this balled up frozen washcloth is that you can take it and you can start to pull it apart. So you're feeling that cold and you're also like getting in there and tearing and getting, opening it up. And it's harder than you think because if you ball it up really well, then you are going to have a harder time pulling it. And that really helps because you're focusing not only with the cold temperature, but you're doing something with your hands. So it's tactile. So you're really focusing in on pulling it apart, feeling that cold in your hand. There are other ways that you can feel cold. You can, if it's the wintertime like it is for us right now, you can go outside and stand in the cold and just sit there. Just sit there and let the cold wash over your body and change that body temperature so that your body is feeling a different sensation. Okay? So that is the T, body temperature. This is one that I tend to do a lot. Okay, this helps me. Intense exercise. Now, when I say intense exercise, I'm not saying go for an hour-long run. It's short spurts, things that just get you out of your head. Okay, exercise can help take you out of your head. Exactly what I just said. Wear yourself out. Take the intense energy and use it to physically exhaust your body. So, you're hyped up, you're feeling really angry. Get outside, even if you're in a pair of flats, just walking quickly in outside, especially again in the cold, where you're getting that temperature change and you're getting the intense, feeling in your body to calm down. Okay. A short burst of running using heavier weights than normal, jumping as if you have a jump rope, all can move your emotional thoughts to how your body is feeling. Okay, this is a really good one for me. I like to use this a lot. Again, going for a fast walk or going in and grabbing some of my dumbbells and the heavier ones, using those and just picking them up and moving them around and making that your body less tense and letting your body go after you do that exercise. Maybe you'll be a little out of breath, so you're focusing on your breath, right? Intense exercise. Again, I like that one. Not for everyone though. P, paced breathing. Now, I'm not talking about, you're in and out and you're noticing you're breathing in, you're breathing out. This is a particular way of breathing. Okay, I use every night before I go to bed, I use box breathing because it helps me to get out of my head of what I'm thinking, got to do, what happened, all that kind of stuff. So box breathing is one of my absolute favorite ways to get out of my head. Okay, focusing on exactly how you're breathing can help you get out of your head. Box breathing is a great way to focus primarily on your breath. So this is how I do it. I wrote it all out in the worksheet, but this is how I do it. So you start with, you breathe in very deeply, and you're going to breathe into your belly. Okay, let me move this so I can do it a little better. Okay, so What I do for box breathing is I breathe in and I count to 4 as I breathe in. You hold it and you count for 4 as you hold it. And then you let go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you hold it again. You don't have any breath in your belly or in your chest. You just let it all out and you count to 4 again. So make sense? If you do it over and over, you start to feel your body relax because you're getting your belly tight with all of that breath, and then you're pushing it out and it just kind of relaxes your body. So that's one of them. And then focus on breathing into your belly and pushing all of that breath out, making your belly feel empty. It's a great, great way to stop being in your head about that and focusing on something else and doing it until you feel more comfortable with the intensity of your emotion. As we're talking anger, you feel less angry as you're focusing on what you're doing. Box breathing, I highly recommend it. And then this one is a really good one too. This is the second P, paired muscle relaxation. Okay, focus on muscle tension while counting your breath. So while you're breathing, again, it's written down on the worksheet, so it will tell you more, but I'll do it for you. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in and you're going to really, really tighten every single one of your muscles that you can, that you have the availability to, of course. So letting it all out. And as you let it out, you can say relax during it. So relax and letting go of your muscles. Doing this for, even you could go 4 or 5 minutes doing it to get yourself out of your head because you're focusing on tightening all of these muscles and letting them all go so that you feel less intense feelings in your body. That's tip. Okay. So again, I have the worksheets and, giving it a try, you never know. Something really, really could help you to feel better. Maybe it is throwing that cold water on your face or putting your face in ice water or, like pulling apart that frozen washcloth. And I'll tell you, that is really, really good for kids. If you put a bunch of them together and, put them in your freezer, and when your kid's really, really having a tough time, hand them it. They'll feel the cold and they'll start noticing that. Then they'll start noticing that they can peel apart and rip it if they really want to. If it's really tight there, they can rip it and it focuses more of that intense feeling into something other than what made them angry in the first place. So I hope that these help. The worksheets are on my website. And that is mymoodymonster.com. And I look forward to next week. If you have any comments or you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to put them down below in the comments section because I'm more than happy to talk more about different ways that you can cope with anger and how to effectively bring yourself out of it so that you can be more in a wise mind rather than emotion mind, as they say it in DBT. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their week, and I will see you next month. I haven't picked my next emotion. I have a few that I'm thinking about. And again, if you want a specific emotion to be talked about next month, again, put it in the comments. I'd be happy to talk about the different emotions that you may be more interested in learning about for coping skills. So have a good rest of your week, and I will see you again next month. Bye.